Hello, my name is Anastasia Ignatova. I'm an architect, urban planner from UN Habitat Urban Planning and Design Lab, and I'm happy to guide you today through the component focused on implementation process. The implementation phase translates the vision for long-term regeneration or new development into the contractual, financial, and institutional relationship between the public and private sectors. It requires coordination raised to a level of orchestration, where interdisciplinary work fosters an understanding of how decision in one field can affect other areas. Such an integrated process differs from leaving each department develop their own projects in silos. It needs many more iterations until finding the optimal solution. These strategies contribute to SDG 3, good health and well-being, SDG 5, gender equality, SDG 10, reduced inequalities, SDG 11, sustainable cities and communities, and SDG 13, which is climate action. The overview defines a sustainable implementation process and provides the tools to form partnerships. It highlights how to ensure quality, circular economy, and sustainable procurement. It describes how to phase the development and how to establish monitoring frameworks to secure outcomes are achieved. In the beginning, let's focus on the sustainable implementation process. A sustainable implementation process is adapted to the community and the context. It integrates resources and zero-carbon targets with circular economy. It coordinates the community vision and the efforts of different stakeholders. The process aligns diverse interests and incorporates multiple perspectives into a shared long-term vision. It ensures a long-lasting commitment from the community and the local authorities. As well, it defines appropriate delivery mechanisms. In addition, a sustainable implementation process is adapted to the location and the context. It reflects the community needs, the market supply and demand, the funding sources, the site capacity, land ownership, the construction costs, engineering constraints, and the local planning policies. In this project you see on the slide in Denmark by Gale, for instance, by concentrating public life in key locations, the master plan creates intuitive meeting points in daily life, allowing communities to merge, live together, and develop local identity. The part 1 of the current training component is focused on partnerships. Cross-cutting solutions need broad alliances for strategy, budget, innovation, and communication. All stakeholders should take part in defining the objectives and the vision of the project. City financing leverages private sector funding. While technical groups can tackle research challenges, a city agency can convey a common vision. Ultimately, all stakeholders have a role to play in attaining the zero-carbon targets while increasing livability, inclusivity, and economic vitality. Involving multiple partners to deliver a common project requires a significant effort from the public sector side. This includes site preparation, master planning, design coding, and investing initially in infrastructure and the public realm. In Hammarby Sjöstad, as you can see on the slide, the agreement between the developer and the city included the design code. The local authority used the design code to grant planning permission and to provide guidance on the layout, form, and the structure of each block, with landmarks, public spaces, and pedestrian routes. Moreover, major public funding was key to deliver the project, with power, water, recycling all put in place initially. In Hammarby Sjöstad, to foster diversity and inspire higher standards of design through competition, more than 60 developers and 30 architects were invited to design each plot or building. Several features ensured the efficient process. These include single public ownership, as almost the entire site was publicly owned at the start, and massive infrastructural investment. Thanks to a long-term vision of the master plan and a collaborative approach, many different developers produced each zone with variations and changes in the design. A flexible mix of uses was encouraged. Ground floor areas in the key frontage zones had to be active while being flexible for the end tenant. Finally, clear delivery mechanisms were established by the public authorities. A public-private partnership can ensure the funding of projects. Such partnership is between the public and the private sectors. Its purpose is delivering a project or a service traditionally provided by the public sector. The successful development and implementation largely depend on the stakeholders involved and the ability of the public institutions to integrate different views and aims. In Yongjin City, for instance, anticipating an increase in travel demand based on Yongjin City's development plans, in 1996 the municipality proposed such partnership to establish the Yongjin Everline Light Rail Transit. That being said, when private sector innovations emerge organically, the role of the local government may encompass regulating, bringing together key players, offering subsidies, and regulating procurement decisions. The second part of the current component is focused on quality, circular economy, and sustainable procurement. Implementing a sustainable neighborhood project will demand the support of many individuals. This involves understanding what is required, when, and by whom, grounding the design through a collaborative work, and ensure the place will reflect stakeholders' aspirations. The approach by Gale in Buenos Aires, for example, leverages collaboration between government departments to create shared goals and break through silos, and creates a flexible framework with ambitious goals and concrete actions. Establishing together the project vision and goals builds consensus on expectations. Collective working enables all parties to inform and influence the evolution of a scheme, avoiding conflicts downstream. Consolidating the governance minimizes potential delays and risk and clarifies roles and responsibilities. It identifies missions and outlines an implementation plan or a program. An example of it, in Nairobi Matare Valley. The project developed plans to improve the living conditions for over 150,000 slum dwellers. Moreover, applying circular economy principles to neighborhood development and delivery requires evaluation of opportunities, cost, and engagement at the early stage. Key considerations include the choice of products and their origin, the efficient usage of resources, the management of construction waste, the carbon emissions, and the potential impacts on biodiversity and heritage. This pilot project in Australia, which you can see on the slide, is a circular economy community model. The Spiral Village will employ emerging 3D printing methods and will foster circularity through a waste-to-resource hub, a regenerative agricultural system, a sustainable water management method, and renewable energy. Integrating circular economy in projects also involves effective supplier and stakeholder engagement to sustainable procurement. It needs to be conducted in an open and transparent manner with early involvement to mitigate risks and create opportunities. Sustainability requirements need to be specified. This should include a clear methodology on evaluation and monitoring the financial and legal obligations of each partner, and a weighted scoring mechanism reflecting the criteria to evaluate the offers. On the slide you can see an example from Netherlands. The objective of this sustainable floating community in Amsterdam is to harvest ambient water and energy for use on the site, cycle nutrients locally, and create an environment supportive of biodiversity and human health and well-being. The project is guided by a comprehensive sustainability plan with goals in 9 key areas. In the third part, we will talk about phasing. Neighborhood construction is a long and resource-consuming process. A staged approach is the key to long-term success. Phasing consists in planning according to the time frame, the availability of funds, the impact on local communities, the priority to the city, and the possible risks and responsibilities of stakeholders. An example is the master plan of Tapinqiao, a neighborhood in China, planned for 10-15-year development process. Phasing should allow flexibility to respond to changing market circumstances. A staging plan should include 3 main components. First, construction sequence and infrastructure delivery plan. Second, delivery of facilities at appropriate stage. And the third, development parcel release structure to speed early delivery of amenities while optimizing initial revenues to offset infrastructure investment. An example you can see on the slide is Dockside Green in Vancouver, Canada, which was planned over 12 distinct phases and 3 neighborhoods. From the beginning of the project, all developers made an upfront commitment to sustainability. The upfront funding was critical in allowing developers to take risks. In the last part of the training component, we will talk about establishing a monitoring framework. Key performance indicators, as you know, KPIs, can be used to test the performance of the neighborhood for carbon emissions and quality of life during planning, design, construction, and operation. They can be grouped into reporting metrics, tracking the performance, and monitoring metrics, tracking broader progress. The diagrams on the slide show examples of KPIs recommended by C40 and Arup for estimating carbon emissions. The KPIs will draw on quantitative metrics, geodata, and qualitative information about the neighborhood, sourced from the residents and other stakeholders. To ensure that the benefits of the development are distributed equitably, the KPIs need to be disaggregated according to all relevant demographic and community groups. This map of New York, for example, shows the correlation between severe rent burden and race. And in conclusion, let's focus on the key highlights of the current training component. Securing partnership fosters innovation and shares the burden associated to risks. Ensuring quality requires a collaborative approach to produce a strong shared vision. Phasing manages and adapts the project to availability of funds, risks, and time constraints. A monitoring framework is important to track the project development and the impact of decisions on the carbon footprint and livability. We hope that this training material is useful for your work, and we wish you good luck.